All right.
Welcome, everybody.
Good evening.
New season, new time slot, new night. A lot of new
Same
stuff.
old people.
Yeah, right.
You're stuck with us. So welcome to week one preview event. Second show of the year.
Yep. Have a very successful premiere night that we're really happy about, and it was a great success. So thanks everyone that participated in that.
Yeah, it was a great time by all, and thank you to everybody who tuned in and all the teams that submitted. We had a great time, and we're just so excited for the 62 teams that participated.
Yeah, we really got a chance to see kind of a good sampling of the type of robots we're going to see this year. Some of them are pretty similar, others are quite unique. So
yeah,
it's great.
I think we have a great show lined up for you guys tonight. Just thank you so much to everybody who was a part of it, and we just can't wait to talk about all this cool stuff. So if you don't know us, we're Mike and Justin. We host the FRCTop25.
Which one are you again?
I am Mike. So thank you. We just also like a huge thank you to VexPro. They are our sole sponsor this year. You can check them out. They supply all sorts of stuff for robotics teams. So thank you to VexPro for being our exclusive sponsor.
Yeah, they got we have this nice new live stream channel here broadcasting in full HD, so we can't thank them enough for that and the support they've given us. We look forward to kind of another successful season.
Yep, absolutely. So you can, as we say every week, there's so many ways you can get in contact with us throughout the show. You can email us, Mike and Justin, itm@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter at FRCTop25. And we really appreciate if you haven't liked our page already on Facebook, if you go to our page, facebook.com/FRCTop25, I believe that will take you there, and you can like us on Facebook as well. So you can stay tuned with us throughout the week. And you can join our mailing list on our website, FRCTop25.com.
Lots of good stuff.
Oh, yeah. So that's that. Just thank you for I'm just glad you guys all made it tonight to our new live stream. This will be our final resting place for our show.
Yeah, things kind of got crazy this week.
It did. Won't get into the details, but we just live stream. Yeah, anyway. So this is our final resting place. So just thank you to VexPro for...
So we're going to die here?
What?
It's our final resting place.
It is. We're going to die.
Sad.
It is. This is it.
All right.
new.livestream.com/FRCTop25. I'm sure you're tired of me spelling things out. Yeah. And all these are brought to you by 1114 Symbotics, because they love when I spell things out and give instructions.
Yeah, right.
They do.
So there is no top 25 tonight, obviously, because grand total of 0 matches have been played so far this year. But
official matches.
Right, official matches. Which are, for our voting purposes, the only ones that matter. But this weekend, make sure you pay close attention to all the events that are going on this weekend. So make sure you're a well-educated voter. So when we come back here 1 week from today, same time, same place, we'll have the week one FRC Top 25 voted on by you.
Yes. So after all events are over, you can head on over to our website and vote for who you think deserve to be in the top 25 through week one. You can only vote for teams that have played. You cannot vote for teams that have not played yet. And that submission form will be open until probably Sunday night at some point. And we will have our show a week from today, Tuesday, going through the first week of regionals and looking at the regionals to come.
Yeah. So that's kind of our schedule for tonight. We're going to look at all the regionals and district events that are coming up this weekend, talk a little bit about each one, some more than others just based on information that we received. Unfortunately, it's impossible for us to kind of do the research we'd love to do for each event. So we really count on you guys to help us out with that, and a lot of people did help us out quite a bit. So if you want us to talk about your event or really want to give us a breakdown, after it's over, send us an email. We'd certainly appreciate that. Definitely.
We always open emails. We got a couple this week. We have a lot of stuff on our Chief.5 post. That's also a great way to get in contact with us or have any suggestions for us to put on the show.
Yeah, Pauline asked a good question. There's a couple of events that are going until Sunday, so that submission page will probably be open until Monday, Monday evening.
The Israel regional it's even more odd. It's even more odd than I think in the past.
Yeah, so they're kind of.
So what we do for them is we put them on
week two.
So the Israel regional will be part of week 2. So, yeah, we'll probably have it open. Well, I mean, we'll have a good idea as votes come in. We kind of start getting a good idea of what teams are going to be on there, so we can start doing our preparation. So yeah, maybe Monday. I don't know.
Monday
evening.
Probably.
Something like that. So, okay. Awesome. So we're just going to kind of go through each regional and each district event that is happening this year, or this week, excuse me. And then we have, like we said before, we have a ton to talk about. So
let's start it off here, Mike.
All right. So our first regional that we're going to talk about is the Central Illinois Regional. So 40 teams are going to be a part of this regional in Perkin, Illinois, consisting of at least 2 teams we saw on premiere night, 1806 and 1986. So 3 regional wins and a Newton Divisional finalist in 2013. Team Titanium 1986 looks to put their robot Tusk to the test this coming week.
Yeah, we're really excited to see 1986 and 1806, of course, but there's also a few other great teams. They're going to be at Central Illinois, like 525 built another solid machine this year. The Fondy Fire, who went to Einstein in 2012. It's going to be a really strong event.
Solid team. That didn't take too long.
I actually put it in there as I wrote it. I was like, haha, solid.
Solid.
That's a joke if you've been following us for the past 4 years.
4 years now. That's crazy. All right. So
hang on.
I'm sorry. Not done.
Tusk, right? 1986. They're historically a team that I think does play relatively early. I think the past few years they've played week 1, week 2, and they found a lot of success based on that. But 1806 SWAT is going to have something to say about that if they don't end up together, which is certainly a likely scenario.
Be a possibility.
But like Mike said, we saw both of their robots on premiere night. They both look great. I've seen some pictures of 525 on Chief Delphi. They look good too. So it's going to be one to watch for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Up next, we have the Palmetto Regional. So 67 teams take the field in the balmy Myrtle Beach, where we would love to be right now. Can I tell you how cold I am, or we are up here?
Winter never ends in Rochester, New York. Right when it's over.
My feet are freezing.
He's cold.
I am.
I'm cold.
So Robots Garage take the field for this Week 1 regional with the robot Deuce Coupe, which we got to see on premiere night. Looks awesome. Can't wait to see it. So we're excited to see the ball handling that we weren't able really to see in their premiere night video, but they do have. They just weren't able to get it into the video. So we're really excited to see how well they do. You want to take this next part?
So last year's defending champions, 245, Adam Botts, 2187 and 11, Mort. Only 2187, Team Volt, is returning this year to defend their title. Well, the finalist alliance from that year, 3824, Rohawktix, return. So of those 6 kind of final teams, only 2 come back. So if that's any indication, it's pretty wide open this year at Palmetto. Mike is lost in the chat.
I am too. Okay, give me a break. It's happened once. How many times has it happened with you?
Countless.
Daily. Nightly.
I love interacting with the chat. We have a special relationship.
Okay, so
Palmetto.
So what do you think? Else you want to add to that?
What about you?
I'm really excited to see Robots Garage.
Robots Garage. We love the styling of the robot. It looks like a Robots Garage robot for sure. But with 67 teams, it's going to be a deep event.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see the contrast between Palmetto with 67 teams and GTR West with 30.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier about 11 not being there. They are from, the Mid-Atlantic region. So, it's not that far away from Myrtle Beach, but maybe not, close enough. And I think it's always interesting to see where teams decide to go. And, we have the Cheesy Poofs all the way from California coming all the way up to Waterloo this year, so that'd be pretty cool. And we'll talk about another team that is making a very long trip coming up later. So up next, we're going to talk about the Alamo Regional.
You're wearing a very Alamo appropriate shirt.
Yes, I am. So 64 teams are competing in San Antonio this year. 118 and 148 will definitely be leading the pack, we think. Wouldn't be too surprised if they end up on the same alliance, just because that happens a lot. They like playing together. And we love watching them play together. The 2013 winning alliance of 2789, 4063, and 2468 will also all be competing. So you can catch the defending regional champions also there as well.
Team 2789, Tech Kaboom.
Tech Boom?
Tech Explosion. Tech Kaboom. But lots of eyes will be on this event, as everyone, of course, loves to see 118 and 148 play. However, dark horse pick might be 624 Kryptonite. They've really done a great job kind of building their program, even kind of in the shadows of 118 and 148. They've been at IRI the past few years. So they have a 2-ball Hockle autonomous mode, and they could be a force when eliminations rolls around.
Yep. All right. So look for that dark horse at the Alamo Regional. So that would be along with there's a lot of great regionals this week. You have 118, 148. You got 1986, and I already forgot. I'm so bad. What was the first one we talked about? 1986 and 1806. Excuse me. And Robots Garage. Everything just gets good already.
Yeah, I mean for the seemingly I don't know, maybe fact, but that a lot of teams don't like to play week one. There's a lot of good teams that are playing week one. So we're really going to get a chance to really see how this game can be played at an Einstein level.
Oh yeah. So speaking of good regionals, GTR West started things off week one. First week of the many Canadian. They have a Canadian regional every week. Am I thinking that right?
It's probably got to be close.
I know we were talking about John last year. I think they were like looking at that. So maybe somebody can verify that or not. But so GTR West kicks things off with the many Canadian regions this year. So 30 teams, only 30 teams this year will be up there, featuring the return of Team 188.
The force from the north.
We did not get to see them last year, unfortunately, due to all the teachers' things that were going on up there.
We're certainly happy to see them back, though.
Definitely. 610 will also be there. 77 who?
772.
1241 who was on who featured their robot on premiere night.
It's kind of bopped us with twins.
They did. Yep. 1310, and so they'll all be there. These Canadian regionals are always a blast to watch, especially the last year or two. Just the level of competition is just increasing up there.
Yeah, I mean, with such a small field, only 30 teams, you're going to see, several. I mean, we talked about 188, 610, 772, 1241, 1310, all those teams. With only 30 teams there, you're going to see those teams. Every match is probably going to be featuring one of those teams or pretty darn close to it.
Yep.
2 of our defending world champions. I mean, it's no secret that the level of competition in Canada has kind of definitely risen the past few years, and with all those kind of
Runnymede had an awesome season last year as well.
Absolutely. So I think it's going to be a competitive event. Canadians are all teams, especially in Canada. It ends up being very intense, very competitive, and teams are going to know each other pretty well by Saturday afternoon. So.
It's such an awesome. We've had
Sunday.
the privilege of being up there for the past few years to at least check out one regional. And just the level, like he said, the level of competition up there is awesome, but the level of respect is even more awesome and even greater than the level of competition. And it's just really something special to be a part of. So if you can make any Canadian regional, if you're close to it in any possible way, you should check one out. They're a blast to go to, and they're just a lot of fun.
We
to
know
watch.
that from. We've gone up there. We've been to a Canadian regional every year the past 4 years at least.
Yeah.
And they're always super nice to us, and we love going up there. So if you have a chance to check it out, definitely. This weekend, GTR West might not be the best choice just because of the viewership restrictions that they have due to their small event.
Yeah.
But
You're right. GTR East, Waterloo.
But also, I have to say that GTR West and the Canadian regionals definitely have the best webcast quality.
Absolutely, they do.
So definitely check that out. GTR West is also kind of piloting a scouting room, so they're going to have their own area away from the field just for scouters. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure you'll have a fisheye view of the entire field for the scouters on the webcast, so it's going to be a good event to watch.
Definitely. Okay, up next we got the Inland Empire Regional. So 294, 1678, 399. Headline a strong field in California. 1678, the Citrus Circuits, that is an awesome name, were one of the first teams to create some noise this build season, releasing a 3-ball auto video with a week left to go in build season. That can sometimes work against you with the target on your back, but the intimidation factor can also help you out as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I don't know. It was like one of the first teams to release that video, right? A 3-ball auto.
Yeah. So an interesting thing as far as 3-ball auto goes, and on premiere night we saw a few teams showcase it. Probably most effectively was the Bomb Squad 3-ball auto all in the hot goal, which was it's an incredible number by itself. But it'd be interesting to see how prevalent the 3-ball auto is going to be as the season goes on. I imagine early. Inland Empire might be a great example of that. The 3-ball auto might be more important just because not every team is going to have their autonomous mode figured out, right?
Right.
So 1678 may very well have a very easy time using their 3-ball auto often. As the season progresses, we'll see is the 3-ball auto prevalency goes up or down or where that's going to go. And that's really just the most addicting part of FIRST Robotics for me is watching a game evolve over the course of the competition season.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me. Week 1 versus Einstein, the disparity there, and watching the game evolve is awesome.
I think that 3-ball auto has some stuff that maybe we could talk about at the end of the show because I have some thoughts on that. But so maybe if we can try to remember, I don't know if it's directly in our notes, but we'll try to remember to talk about that because there's some stuff that I think we've talked about before that maybe we could get some viewer feedback on. But that'll be we'll have to see. A lot of things happen in your shop. That may or may not happen on the field, us included. That happened last year. You put out a video that shows stuff you can do. And I'm just really excited to see this 3-ball auto from 1678 and all these other teams that have put it out as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's even something that, that we're working on, too, with our robot
That is a great point. So Look at that. 3-ball auto is more necessary for limbs, frees up 2 teams to play goalie.
We're going to talk about the goalies later. I'm very excited about the
I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put this in so we don't forget. So 3-ball auto, and
so Mike's gonna add that. I'll move on here to keep this thing going.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. So the Israel regional. Is it the Israel regional or the Israeli regional? I don't know how to say.
The Israeli. What are your options here?
The Israel regional or the Israeli regional?
Israeli.
Libby will correct me. I'm sure.
Libby, are you going there?
May or
this
may
year,
not be going.
Huh?
Last I heard, she was going.
Yeah, that's what I thought she was planning on going.
We'll see how she responds in the chat. But the 3 winners from last year are all in the hunt to win it again. 4320, 1577, and 2630. 52 teams from Israel. Wow,
I love it.
What a growth! What a growth there. And as well as a team from Los Angeles. So those 3 teams, again, trying to defend their title, but also 1574, Miss Carr, who I consistently kind of view as the best team in Israel, released a video of their robot this past week, and it looks strong, and they'll be looking to make a statement this weekend for sure.
Absolutely. I just, getting ready for the show, just seeing that 53 teams are going to the Israeli regional, I'm blown away. Like, I think that's so awesome. And I would just love, to know more about that community in Israel and how that first community, interacts with each other. Like, how far these 52 teams, like, how far apart are they spread apart? All that kind of stuff. Like, I think it's just really cool because we get so sometimes closed-minded and, just in our area, in our country and stuff. But just to know that FIRST is impacting so many lives around the world is just really, really cool to think about. So,
yeah, I mean, you make a great point. Even if you look at the Mexico regional that's happening this year, most of the news coming out of Mexico isn't that positive recently, right? So to see a program like FIRST able to thrive even in a difficult environment, and Israel has sometimes its own struggles as well, but to see FIRST able to thrive in difficult environments like that, where sometimes all the odds are against these students and these teams, to see it thrive really showcases how important FIRST is and how resilient it is, too.
Oh, thank you. He says Israel's about as big as New Jersey. So that's pretty cool.
As far as?
Like, size of the country?
Land area? I thought Israel was much bigger than that. Again, it's just showcasing our American ignorance.
Oh, I know. It's just...
It's pretty sad, actually.
It is, that we know nothing about. 10,425 square miles.
The stuff we end up looking up on this show is ridiculous. So yeah, 4320, 1577, 2630 in Israel looking to defend their title. And Miss Carr has a strong robot, so we'll see how that all plays out on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday event, I believe. So that'll maybe cure your robot hangover.
The midweek. Okay, so... Why don't you take this?
Which one? Oh.
So that takes care of all the regionals for this coming week. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 regionals and...
Almost an equal number of district events.
Yeah. So why don't you start off with this email we got?
So Michael Coyle from Team Crevolution 2851. A great breakdown of what's happening in Michigan. I think it's going to become a kind of a weekly segment that he's going to help us out with. Going to kind of be a What's Up in Michigan thing, and it's something that if you're interested in, we'd love to have something like this for all parts of the world. So if you're interested in this and that kind of thing, shoot us an email. We'd love to talk with you about that. So what's going on in Michigan? So emphasis on cooperating with your partners. Might see some interesting things at regionals that don't in district events that don't necessarily have a lot of depth. In Michigan, teams are limited to just 40 teams. The events are capped at 40. So over half the teams make it in elimination. So the 8th seed alliance may have the ability to select 3 robots that can shoot, have a trust shot, and some sort of catching ability. Where the number 1 seed with a kind of a weaker district event will have 2 remarkable robots, which tends to happen for the first seed. But when it comes back around for their third bot, it might have a more difficult time finding a viable partner. So the ability to have 3 interchangeable robots versus 2 powerful robots, you'll see some interesting strategies for sure. So let's start with talking about the Centerline District event, first in Michigan. We haven't seen the Thunder Chickens robot yet. No pictures, no video.
Nothing.
Keeping their cards to the vest. With 39 other teams, expect them to be successful. Or 39 other teams standing in their way. We'll see how things play out. You want to take the next part?
So this is, again, from Michael Coyle, so thank you for all the information about his little topic that hopefully we can do every week or whatever. That's What's Up in Michigan. So he says, I expect to see something of this nature at the 2 Mission District events in Week 1. At Centerline, the 2 major contenders will be 217, the Thunder Chickens, and Team 1718, Fighting Pie. Only one of the 2013 Centerline champion teams will be returning, that being 2851, Crevolution, which is yet to prove themselves year to year as a strong team. With some recent struggles of Team 910, Foley Freeze, I see them turning this year into a success. Other teams such as 494, the Martians, 1023, Bedford Express, and 280, TNT, will make this tournament interesting. By seeding lower and picking their own alliances, they will be able to put together a well-rounded team and try to knock out the expected number 1 alliance of 217 and 1718.
Yeah, I love watching Michigan events. Just as far as Canada goes, Michigan is, again, they're just seem to be the most competitive events year after year, and the depth of some of these events.
Yeah.
And look at this. I mean, 217, 2851, 910, 494, 1023, 280. There's going to be a lot of interesting strategies play out, and it's really going to give you a great example of. All the different possibilities this game has to offer. But if 217 and 1718 ally, you're going to kind of see a very powerful alliance, and we'll see how they manage to do at Centerline.
Yeah. So it takes care of Centerline. I mean, I think that's an awesome topic. It's just, what these eighth alliances can do. And, maybe not. I think the 8th Alliance has a much more shot than in years past. Last year we did see kind of some 8 and 7 alliances sneak up there and take down. But this year I think is just really you can really do that, especially at championship where you can have 4 teams on an alliance. So after Centerline District, we have the Southfield District, also in Michigan. Is this a continuation from Mike as well? Mike Coyle?
Yep.
So at Southfield, the major contenders will be 33, the Killer Bees, who we've seen a release video from. Very good, very interesting. And 862, Lightning Robotics. Look to see the Feds, Team 201, and Wings of Fire, Team 51, make a rebound from a not-so-successful year and put some great machines together. The Killer Bees, Team 33, is obviously the favorite for the tournament, but with a larger pool of teams and especially a lot of Michigan dark horses, you can see a 3rd or 4th seed contest the Killer Bees for the blue banner. Scouting is going to be key because one of these dark horses slips through, the Bees will be sailing easily to victory. Look out for 573, the Mech Warriors, and 3098, the Captains, who have shown off their robots already, along with 247 Dub Airs, who usually have a quality bot themselves. Look for 1250 Gatorbots, 1701 Robo Cubs, 2145 the Hazmats, and 3414 Hackbots to make some noise of their own. The biggest underdog team is a personal favorite of his, Team 3604, the Goon Squad. That's awesome. I love that name. Look for them to be picking or overlooked and picked onto a top seed alliance.
So as far as Southfield goes, if you're looking for kind of a great maybe lesson in how alliance selections should go and could go, keep an eye on Southfield. Like he said, 33 is going to be up there, 862 probably up there. But how those teams decide to pick and how the 7th and 8th seeds construct their alliances to go against them will be really a great look into how things are going in Michigan, and how we can expect that to continue throughout the year.
Yeah. So, Pauline, we just got your email. Pauline wants to do a "What's Up in Cali" segment.
What's up, Cali?
So, absolutely, definitely. If you ever want to put anything together, Pauline, you can just email us anything that you take, and we'll do the same kind of thing that we're doing right now with Mike's "What's Up in Michigan." And it goes for anybody in any region.
This
or
"What's
area.
Up" thing
May just happen.
It's kind of cool. I like. For me, it's all about naming. A mentor on our team, Colin and I, names are everything. If you can think of a good name for something, the product itself can suck. You need a good name. And "What's Up in Blah," that's a good name.
And it's a name and usually a number.
Yeah.
The ShakerBot 6000.
Or the SuckBot 6000.
usually
last night he didn't have his phone. It was like backup 6000 or beater phone 6000. It was hilarious.
It usually has four digits in it. So. What's up in Mar? Yeah, we'll take them. Everybody, come on board.
Whatever you want to do. What's up wherever.
We'll just change our name to What's Up in FRC.
Really, we're just looking for how we can do the least amount of work.
Sold.
I'm kidding, of course.
But seriously.
All right.
All right, so up next. So that takes care of Michigan. So you'll see Centerline District and the Southfield District in Michigan this weekend. Everything all right over there?
Oh, we're good.
We good.
Oh, we good.
All right. So that's a good reminder. You can email us, Mike and Justin ITM at gmail.com, Twitter at FRCTop25, and on Facebook /FRCTop25. Those are great ways to get in contact with us. We're going to take a lot of questions here at the end of your questions or your topics that you'd like us to talk about. So some things can kind of get lost in the chat. So if you send us an email or whatever, that's the best way to get it because we know we'll have it. Okay.
All right. So moving away from the Michigan district model to the Mid-Atlantic district regional, or the MAR district.
Zimar.
So we're going to kick things off this weekend in MAR with Mount Olive and Hatboro Horsham. So Mount Olive posts a strong field with 11, 223, 1403, and 1676, among others. Your 2013 winners of 11, 222, and 3340 are all back to defend their title. There are plenty of teams that have a chance of standing in their way. Also, Tactical Snail will be there.
Tactical Snail. Definitely. We got to see Tactical Snail on premiere night. If you don't know who that is, that's from Team 1923, the Midnight Inventors. So definitely check them out. Libby Kamen is working very hard with them, and they've put out a great robot again this year.
One of the more unique wheeled shooters. So we'll see how they fare.
Not necessarily a launcher. So check that out at Mount Olive this weekend. Another district event going on in MAR, which is the Mid-Atlantic region, is the Hatboro Horsham.
H&H, we like to call it.
Oh, yeah, the H&H. H&H bagel.
Those are raisin bagels. Never expected to see that.
Never thought I'd live the day to see that. So H&H also has a strong... I was going to use the word that you wrote in here, touts, but I have no idea what it is.
Touts?
So I'm not going to use that.
Like they tout it. Like they promote, push.
Okay.
Tout a strong field.
Right.
Hashtag vocabulary.
Hashtag word of the day. Hashtag H&H also touts a strong Marfield. 341 Miss Daisy, 2590, and 3123 took the gold last year, and both Daisy and Nemesis returned to defend their title. Throw in 25, 2016, and 1218. And fresh off their onside appearance, 303 test. And you've got a great event. That is awesome. 25, 2016, 1218, 341.
2590.
2590.
3123. It's going to be wild.
Also a great event to watch this weekend. Don't forget about the Alamo, too. This is ridiculous. There's so many good things to watch.
I quit. I can't watch them all.
So we'll be paying close attention to 341 as we look to see what they will bring to FLR in week 5. Interesting. So we will see Miss Daisy at our regional that 340 will be going to, FLR, Finger Lakes Regional, in week 5. So we'll have some extra interest in that as well.
Hopefully lucky enough to be pitted next to them again.
Yeah, that's cool.
We were pitted next to them at IRI in 2012. Great team. We used like 4 of their batteries. Definitely, no question why they're in the Hall of Fame. And we look forward to paying close attention to them and how everything else unfolds at H&H.
Okay, maybe I don't know what it is. Colin says, Mom wanted to say the show is almost as good as Honey, Where Are My Pants?
Lego movie joke.
Oh, is it? Was the person...
Awesome.
Who's his pants disconnected or something?
No, he had them. They were just like skin colored.
All right, I gotta watch
The
that.
Lego Movie was fantastic.
Everything is awesome.
But
All right,
they don't give us any money, so we're gonna stop talking about it.
Yes, unless they'd like to. We
It's a
could
joke.
decorate Lego.
That's a joke. Oh, Lego would be so good.
Nah, we got our Vex Pro, which we're very happy with. All right, so
Everything is awesome.
Good stuff. All right. So you want to talk about the new district that we have this year? We have two new districts.
Two new districts, Pacific Northwest and Granite State, or the whole kind of New Hampshire, New England region. But first, we're going to talk about the Auburn Mountain View District, which is the Pacific Northwest district that begins this weekend. So Bare Metal, Team 2046, we're looking to take the inaugural blue banner for that district event. But it's a pretty wide open event. District teams get a ton of matches. It's going to be interesting to see how that affects teams in the very underrated Pacific Northwest region. There's a ton of great teams up there.
There are 2471, 2046, 1983. I mean, they're all from up there. And there's just, I just think they're kind of, they're West Coast. Obviously, have all the great California teams, but the Pacific Northwest is still up there too. And I just think you're right. I think they just kind of get forgotten about, which is unfortunate.
So I'd love to see how. I guess I don't really know how to put this together in an eloquent statement. So I'll just say it. How teams are going to handle playing so many more matches. Like Michigan, when Michigan started the district events, I wasn't really following the battle of attrition that ends up happening, because these district events, teams play so many more matches, and teams that aren't used to that, like teams that are used to going to one regional and being done, 8 matches, 10 matches, all of a sudden they're going to be playing 30, 40 matches. How that affects those teams, and how how sharp the learning curve is on that would be interesting to watch.
I think you're right, and I think with that goes the robot robustness.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
everything that you're essentially playing now 2 or 3 times as many matches as you normally did in years past. So planning for that and designing a robot around that. So I think most teams appreciate more matches.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's you might be more busy if you're still going to do a regional and 2 district events. Now you're busy. Now you have 3 weeks out of competition season instead of maybe just 2 in years past, plus your district championship event. So that could be 4. It's different, and I think teams can adapt. And I hope, and I think we see it a lot coming out of Mar and sometimes in Michigan. It's tough though, because if you're guaranteed 2 district events and you want to go to a regional, and you have your district championship event, that's 4 out of the 6-7 weeks, or 7 now, I guess, with the district championship. But I mean, that's a lot of school missed and stuff. And I'd love to hear maybe from teams that have had to go through maybe that trial and how they get through it and how their students deal with it and all that.
Yeah, but I just love to be a fly on the wall on some of these teams that in some of their design. Deliberation of how they, if they're taking into account the increased match play and how that affects their design, and we'll see how that plays out as the Pacific Northwest ventures into the district model along with the Granite State district event. What are they calling that whole district? Is it the Granite State or is it New England? I think it's probably the New England district event. New England district. I just wrote Granite State, but I'm assuming it's New England.
I'm not sure. The chat is a little delayed.
We just don't know anything. That's the problem.
That's the problem. So, Granite State. So one of the first oldest regions switches to districts this year, and it'll be really interesting to see how those teams feel about the district model. So, teams like 177 Bobcat Robotics are going to be bringing a strong machine, but don't count other New England teams such as 131 Chaos and 1519 Mechanical Mayhem who want to start accumulating those district points that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, the standard district point system that kind of FRCTop has brought down, creates a level playing field. There's some interesting changes, but like I said, we're going to talk about that a little later. But Bobcat, kind of the team that seems to make their home on Einstein more and more. And 131 and 1519 will make a strong showing.
Didn't Bobcat have 5 straight Einstein
6,
appearances or something like that? 6?
I thought it was 6, yeah.
Could be like that. It's crazy. So.
I love how I'm put at LibDog.
At LibDog. All right. So, So that's the Granite State. So that takes care of our districts for this weekend. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I lost track because you're scrolling.
Sorry, 6. That was even.
6 and 6. 6 regional, 6
districts.
district events. So 12 events to watch from this weekend. Good luck. Have fun. Learn a lot.
Kind of jealous we're not playing. I'm really looking forward to playing this game.
That's what I was saying. Like out of just because of we use a Rochester Institute of Technology because it's in town here. We've always had to go around their break schedule. So just the way it works is because they were on the quarter system instead of semesters, is that they would always have their break like week 1 or week 2. So for the past 7-8 years, we've been. Is it 10 years now? 5, 6?
That was last year. I think was the 10th one. No,
this is the 10th.
This is the 10th. They've been doing it as long
so
as
the
we
past
have.
10 years, we've always been week 1 or 2. So this is the first year because they switched to semesters that were like week 5 now. So it's kind of different. So of all the years that we wanted to play
early,
we didn't want to, and now that we don't play early, we want to. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it'd also be interesting for us because we usually, like Mike said, we always played Finger Lakes first and gone, Buckeye or somewhere else second. But to play Troy first now, TVR, the new regional in New York.
FLR East?
Yeah, right. And then come back for FLR. Week 5 will be interesting.
Cool. So this next segment is all based on your requests, your input on Chief Delphi, through our email, through every possible way that you can get in contact with us. So we have a lot to talk about, and we'd love if you guys have anything else you'd like to talk about. Again, tweet us, email us, whatever. And we'll definitely hit those at the very end before we sign off for the
and we
night.
can't thank you guys enough for all the questions and the involvement. Every year, every show, we ask for community involvement. I feel like the only way this show is viable and interesting is if we're talking about what you're interested in, right? What the community is talking about. And you've done a great job of bringing all that to our attention this week, and we're happy to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, as Justin said.
All right. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about some common qualification strategy.
This game is just so dynamic. I love it. Like I don't know. Going into week 1 last year, I mean, you knew some teams were going to be the cyclers and stuff, and that strategy necessarily didn't change for some teams throughout the whole season. Like they were just built to cycle and hang for 10. This game, with the way assists work, with the way truss tossing and high goal scoring and the same points were over the truss as it is in the high goal and catching, all this stuff, I think it opens up the floodgates for such a dynamic game that could change week to week, that could be completely different from regional to regional, from regional to district event, from district event to district. I think this is going to be, as for those that are in the first community, the most dynamic game we've seen in a long time. Now, for those that may not know much about FRC or know much about the game at all, they might not know any different. But as far as those go, I think it's going to be really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how different events play the game.
Yeah. I'm not going to quite go so far as to say I like the game yet. I think the game has potential. I'm concerned a little bit on how the average qualification match is going to look. I think there's a chance that a lot of the matches could be boring. I think it's going to be a game of two extremes. I think the match is either going to be extremely boring or the matches are going to be extremely exciting. I'm not sure how much of a middle ground there's going to be.
Exciting for who? The viewer, or exciting for the team that's in the match?
That's a great question.
Because I think it'd always be kind of exciting.
I think for the viewer, it's going to be tough. Just because they're not going to quite understand what's going on all the time. They're going to see balls go through the hot goal, and sometimes the score is going to increase by 10. And they're going to see balls go through the high goal, and sometimes the score is going to increase by 60. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's going to be tough for some people to kind of understand. But from a visual perspective, I think if teams, if the trust shot's happening, and it seems like from the robots I've seen, teams are really kind of did first a favor, I think, in really going for the kind of the widely accepted or the grandma accepted vision of a catch, right? The rules on possession and catching were very ambiguous, and teams really could have skirted the rules quite a bit there and made it even more confusing for the viewer. But it seems like teams that really were going for the catch, were going for the standard definition of a catch. So if that plays out well, I think you will have some exciting matches for people to watch.
Yeah. So again, I think that it's just going to be I'm interested to see the dynamics. So back to our thing, the common qualification strategy, the run and gun. Explain the run and gun, and then.
So I think it's going to be popular early on. I think that's kind of one team dominating the match for the Alliance and just running that kind of the 2013 cycle. Run back, score, grab the ball. Run back, score, grab the ball. Just in our practice matches, we found that to be very effective. So I think that's, it's going to be popular early on. If you look at your Alliance and you see that the teams that you're with aren't necessarily the strongest teams at the event, and you've shown that you're, pretty good at handling the ball and can make fast cycles, it's going to be hard for them to argue with you to say, we really should kind of slow down to try to make an assist or two when that assist is only worth 10 points, but it might take, 20 seconds, 15 seconds to accomplish, where a lot of teams can run 2 cycles in that time. So I think run and gun is going to be pretty popular early on. As the event evolves and as the season evolves, I think that'll fade less and less as teams really get used to playing the team game.
So a lot of these topics maybe kind of overlap each other as we go on, but teams that have a working auto mode already be at a huge advantage. Now, if your team puts in 3 in the hot goal and the other team puts in 3 in the hot goal, obviously that's a wash. But if you can have a dominant auto mode that works every time, your 2-ball works every time, or even if you're so consistent at 1 hot goal and the mobility bonus, you're setting yourself up to start the match in a good way. Obviously, having a good auto mode will help you in teleop. And I mean, I know that's maybe something obvious to say, but it's so true. Go ahead. You read this next one.
So the face palm has kind of been an inside joke on the show for a while with some of the people that watch quite a bit. But face palm usually is applied to a team that struggles in the Alliance selection process.
That's kind of where it all started. Yeah. Like selecting teams that already have been chosen, or teams that aren't even at the regional, which happens somehow.
Sadly. So that's kind of where the face palm. But to me, if your Alliance comes out of autonomous and you don't have at least 15 points, meaning the 3 of you couldn't find a way to
deserve to lose
crawl
the match,
over the line. Yeah, you absolutely deserve to lose the match. Not only is that detrimental to yourself, but your Alliance, that's drive forward. Have a half rotation in your wheel. You don't have to go fully across the line. Just make contact across the white line to the red line. It's 2 inches. So I really hope teams have figured out at least that point. I understand that teams have a lot of struggles. Teams lost time build season. Teams are rookies. I understand there's a lot of a lot working against a lot of teams. But I think if you're going to show up to an event, you owe it to your Alliance partners at least to be relatively competent playing the game.
So
at least have a neutral setting or a robot that's easily moved, and they can put the robots in front of the other one and push them in. I hope to see a lot of teamwork in auto, right? Especially if teams have a 3-ball auto or 2-ball auto. One team doesn't have an auto at all. Maybe that other robot can push the other one into the zone.
Right. 2012, you could line up. You could get away with not having a camera in auto if you could line up really well. 2013, again, if you could line up really well, you could get away with the camera. This could not be any simpler to drive forward.
Literally.
Like
could not be any simpler.
So, So go ahead. I got to write another note. So why don't you start up there on the next one?
All right. I just want to go on record and saying 2012 is probably one of my favorite games, and I loved the bridges, especially the co-op bridge. That was really exciting for me. I love dealing with the opposing Alliance.
All right, actually, I'll take this one since I put it in.
Okay.
So Austin from 2046 put this on Chief Delphi for us. So his question or comments, thoughts were on the ideal cycle. So I'm just going to quote what he said. So his optimal cycle. Alliances have a number of different ways to complete a cycle, each with a different amount of points and taking different amounts of time. Is there some sort of optimal cycle? One that gives the most amount of points for the shortest amount of time, maximizing a typical Alliance's scoring potential. Trust shot, 2 assists, high goal, 3 assists, no trust shot, high goal, 1 assist, trust shot, high goal, etc., etc., etc. Wow. It's true.
So when you mentioned how this is one of the most dynamic games we've ever seen, that's why right there.
Yep.
We don't know. I guess the answer to your question now is we don't know. We don't know. The average. I guess to answer your question, you'd have to know what the average robot ability is, and we're going to have to kind of mold and move that cycle around to kind of fit that average cycle. Like I said earlier, I still think that the run and gun is going to be hard to beat. early until teams really kind of understand their machines, understand what it's capable of.
Understand how defense is to play smart defense in a game like this. So
it's going to be like, Darwinism at its best right here. Teams that adapt to the game as they move on will do well. Teams that don't adapt will die. I think that's just how it's going to be.
So as far as an ideal or optimal cycle, I think, as we said earlier about the dynamic of this game, it's really match dependent. Now, if you go out there and you have two robots that can barely drive on the other side of the team, then, I think it all still boils down to you want to win the match. What's the best way to win the match? If you can run and gun and just keep throwing 10 points in, 10 points in, 10 points in, then I don't know why you would want to try to mess around with, trust shots and stuff, unless you're winning by an astronomical amount and there's just no way that other alliance is going to come back. Then you can maybe start working on your other stuff. But the goal is to win matches. And I just hope teams don't try to get too cute, try to play the game too well, and just lose sight of this is it's win or lose, and that's what it comes down to. And if you're losing a match because you're trying to trust shot every time and trying to catch, and then the ball rolls around and you can't get it, and you end up putting in the 1 point goal, then you go back and you try it again, and at that rate it only takes the other team like 1 or 2 shots and they win. So I just hope teams don't get too fancy with trying to play the game how it's supposed to be played when there's a better strategy out there for you to win the match, if that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense. You're absolutely right. Teams that, and you see it every year, teams that try to play the game as it was presented to them. I think one of the biggest differences between average teams and higher level teams is that they play the game to win. They don't care what it looks like. They don't care if it's dirty. They don't care if it's ugly. They just want to win. If it means that they keep the ball the entire time and play run and gun by themselves, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Is it how it's supposed to be played? No. Are the other two alliances going to be necessarily happy about it? Probably not. But I've never been with a team that was unhappy about a win.
Right.
So you got to be able to adapt to your alliance partners and play the game to get the win. That's what it's all about. Everything else is just.
And if that path is to, to trust shot and have somebody catch it because they are that good at catching, by all means do that. Because that saves yourself run and gun cycles, and it could save you 2 run and gun cycles if you can trust shot and catch, and then get the ball back for an assist and then shoot it again. Like, that saves you so much time there if it works well. But if it doesn't work well, we have not seen. We've seen a lot of videos of catching on YouTube and stuff, but they're all, I think, very well staged. Our robot included. Our shot in our premiere video took 3, 4, 5 times with both robots. Not both robots being stationary, but at least one being stationary. So, our robot's not the best at catching, but I've seen a lot of teams out there that look like they're really good at catching. So I'm really excited to see how that translate in an actual match.
Absolutely. So. The beauty of Google Drive is that we'll have this week 1 preview PowerPoint that we use to kind of work through our process. It'll be saved forever. So it'll be interesting, maybe in our last show, to come back to this slide that Austin said 2040 from 2046, the optimal cycle, and maybe then we'll have an answer.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. Cool. So up next we have something from Dylan from SWAT 1806 concerning complementary robot styles. Did you add this? Leading to an odd man out in Qualis 2v2 kind of sort of play where the idea. So thanks, Dylan, for this heads up and this topic. So the odd man out would kind of be like, okay, well this team really passes really well to this team. This team really shoots it really well. Or this team trust tosses well to this team, and they can catch really. So. Do you kind of leave one team out? Is that team just going to play defense at that point? What's going to happen? What's maybe the best complementary robot style?
So I think that if you think about it, 2 teams, right? 2 teams that are, play the game at a decent level are all you really need to accomplish all of the game tasks except for that 3rd assist, right? If you have 2 teams, you can toss and catch. You can have 2 assists, right? You can get everything done except for that 3rd assist. So try to include that 3rd robot, which, let's be honest, in an average qualification match, there's, you could rank the teams, this is a good team, this is a slightly worse team, this is a slightly worse team. It's easy to tell that slightly worse team, the 10 points that we're going to get from your inclusion in our cycle for that 3rd assist, maybe isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So I think you could see a lot of 2v2, two robots just kind of helping each other out, because you can get a ton of points that way and not talk about your other, or not use your other robot at all in your cycle. Now, is that third robot going to end up playing a lot of defense? Is the other alliance doing the same thing and their odd man out is going to play defense on you? Remains to be seen.
Absolutely.
That's what's so exciting about this weekend.
It is. And so much is going to be brought to light this weekend, I think. And again, each match is going to be completely different. And maybe not completely different, but the potential for completely different. As far as complementary robot styles go, again, it depends on who you're with and who you're going to pick, and who, this team might be really good at ejecting the ball out for an assist or passing it back to you, but what if just those robots don't match up well? Like, the way they spit it out isn't necessarily a way that you can pick it up well, or whatever like that. And I mean, I don't know, if you have a ground pickup, any team that can spit it out can, obviously pick it up from the team that spits it out. But what about the teams that want to just do robot-to-robot pass? That may not happen very well amongst teams, but it may happen great amongst other teams. So I think it depends on who you're with, who you're against, and who you decide to play with in eliminations.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. So if you're not excited about this weekend, I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah,
this is going to be crazy.
All right, So thank you, Brian from 2175. He has, excuse me, he asked for our opinion on the top 5 robots of teams that we've seen so far. So that's teams that we, or maybe he didn't ask about teams we haven't seen yet, but maybe just the teams like from Premiere Night or something. We really thank you, Brian, for asking us. But as much as this show is about the top 25 teams in FRC, we kind of shy away from making these predictions, especially when teams haven't played yet. And, just because then you're just going on reputation, and very much so that those teams that have done well in the past do well in the future. We just like waiting to see, after these teams start competing, and then we start talking, and then we let, the public obviously vote and decide, and then we talk about it. Yeah,
so I mean, we talked about some high-level teams that we expect to see at events, and we understand that's mostly based on maybe a little bit of their team history and their success, but a lot of it's based on what we've seen so far as far as robot release videos. But as far as top 5 robots, we don't want to we try not to influence any votes, and we'll just let this weekend play out.
Yep.
I think Chief Delphi and Facebook and Twitter are pretty good at
highlighting.
Telling you all about the robots they think are the best. So we'll see. We'll let you guys decide who the top 5 are and the top 25 are.
Absolutely. So don't forget to vote after this weekend of regionals and district events. I'll take the next one.
The Super Coach, one overseer of the whole match. So especially in eliminations, if an alliance does tend to utilize a Super Coach, which is kind of interesting. Just saying a Super Coach is very strange. So the drivers for that team would have to be self-sufficient, assuming that the Super Coach is all over the place. But you have to remember, for most high-level teams and experienced drive coaches, that's pretty much what's happening already. Very rarely do I see Jim Zondag stick with 33 for an entire match. Right? He's very active. Right? He is a Super Coach, regardless of what match you're in. So I think a lot of teams are doing that already. Whether alliances dictate one coach to be the Super Coach, I actually think would almost be a disadvantage, because that puts a lot of pressure on one person. If you have 3 coaches, right, if everyone plays a specific role, you have much more chance of someone seeing something that the Super Coach misses. Drive teams are, there's 4 people, 3 teams. Use all those people most effectively to kind of accomplish your goal. If you try to go the Super Coach route and kind of promote one person above the rest, you might find that works for you, but I'd much rather have 12 people who know what to look for, who know what they're doing going into eliminations than anything else.
John Ringo brings up a good point. He says he's not sure how well the Super Coach will work out, considering it's hard to practice that role. However, I think there's certain personality styles of some people that are very comfortable in being able to coach other drive teams. And you're right, that's not something you can necessarily practice, but your coach may be kind of quiet and kind of just focuses on your drive team. And there may be some people, like a Jim Zondag, like a Raul for 111 when he was coaching for them.
Like a Paul Copioli.
Yeah, exactly. They have no problem helping to coach other teams and help executing the match strategy that was decided on before the match. Because I hope each alliance is talking before the match and isn't just going out there winging it.
Yeah, like I coached a match in 2009 with Jim Zondag, and we both made it very clear to each other and the other coach in the alliance that we wanted to win. And I'm likely to miss something. He's likely to miss something. We're not going to hesitate to make sure that communication is flowing. If that means Jim shouting to the other team in our alliance, "They're killing you," then that's what it takes, right? Communication is key. Information is power. So it's all about effective communication. Whether a super coach is necessary remains to be seen.
Yeah, that's really funny.
He's a crazy guy. I love Jim.
And especially in this year, somebody to make the on spot decisions that need to be made, and that because especially the whole alliance needs to be involved in these decisions now. So that's the idea of the super coach, I guess, and our thoughts on it. So Cody Bird, thank you for this topic. We're going to talk about defense in the goalie zone, and also some defense throughout the entire match. So I'm excited to see how that unfolds, really. I'd love to see a dominating goalie bot really make a difference this year, because nobody has really seemed to have built one yet. We haven't really seen. We've seen some goalie bots.
Yeah.
And it's the picture of what you see in the manual. The 6-inch cylinder that comes up, and there's one team that comes out on 20 inches each side, and it looks like they can kind of vary. But yeah, I'm excited to really see how that works. As well as Austin also chimed in on this part of the conversation. So autonomous blockers. A number of teams have shown that they have a 2 or more ball autonomous, meaning not all three robots need to be in the white zone for all 3 robots to be scored in auto. Will blockers become an important strategy for auto?
If you take one of your robots and put him in the white zone as a blocker or a goalie, they have to block one ball, right, in order to be effective. If they block a ball, you that's good, right? You've covered yourself as far as taking that robot out of your zone and putting him in the white zone gets rid of their ability to get you the mobility bonus. So if they don't block a ball, you've lost 5 points.
True, that's right, because you have no mobility bonus.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd have to be a really good goalie and have proven yourself to be that, to be effective. If you're a 50% goalie bot or worse, I'm gonna have a hard time, putting you in the goalie zone. I'd much rather have you drive forward, give me those 5 points, and let's, maybe you can block a ball in teleop or something. But that's another thing, and I want to go back just to what we were talking about before, just goalies in general. I'm really excited to see how this unfolds. I'm really hoping that there's just a dominating goalie robot out there that really just kind of takes an entire regional and just turns it on its head. One good goalie bot could do that, I think. Absolutely. If it ends up on the right alliance. Even if it seeds poorly, I could see it being a robot that's taken pretty high. So I'm really excited to see how that unfolds. The goalie could be like stacking in 2003, just become completely irrelevant, or it could make a difference. So we'll see.
And I think for the goalie to be really, really effective is that you need to be able to block that shot pretty dead on to the middle of that ball, I think. The outer third or whatever, I don't, may deflect it, but since you're so close to the goal, I think it just could just deflect off and still go in maybe. Maybe I'm not thinking it through all the way, but...
No, you are.
I think, your center of your 6-inch cylinder needs to be pretty close to the center of that 6-inch or that 2-foot ball for it to be, highly effective, so we'll see. And, maybe teams will, if, maybe it'll be the pool noodle of this year is, making some sort of mechanism that can come up 6 inches and just taking a shot at the dark. If you're with a team that can do a 3-ball auto or with a team that can do, or a team that can do a 2-ball auto and another team that can do a 1-ball auto. But let's go with this for a second. So if you have a team that can do a 3-ball auto, all hot, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. So 16.
Okay. Yeah. So is it actually I don't know where I was going with that. I guess I was looking back to the mobility bonus.
Mm-hmm.
is it worth losing that mobility bonus to be over or have both teams on that side? And you already hit on that. Like if it's not effective, then no, it's not. I don't think.
Plus, I would be interested to see how effective a goalie bot can be throughout the match. Right? If 16 3-ball auto, right? That's great. So you have 2 goalies. But when the match starts and autonomous is over, then what? Right? Are they still effective? And teams, if teams did decide to do goalie bot, I'm really interested to see how well they were able to predict the power that a lot of teams have behind their shots, right? If you're a goalie bot and you're like, oh, this will do, and you're tossing balls at your deflector, you're like, oh wow, that works really well, and you underestimated how hard some of these
look at
teams
1923 and all these other teams that are actually shooting balls. Yeah. I mean
I guess the team I'm most familiar with is ours. Our shot, I wouldn't want to be standing in front of it when it goes off. So did goalies plan for these super hard shots? Do goalies even exist, at a competent level? Remains to be seen.
Even like you said, even our team, we had our goal set up right up against the wall, kind of, and that ball was just like slapping against
especially
the wall.
with our running shots.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And speaking of which, somebody is going to get knocked out this year.
Oh, totally.
It's
absolutely. The week 1. What's going to happen after week 1 is that they're going to have some sort of, I think, net behind both alliance stations because. Again, just to use our shot, for example, because it's one I've seen the most. We go through the goal, and if it's a running shot, it easily
15, 20
easily
feet
goes 20 feet past the goal. And that's at Finger Lakes. That's outside the field.
On the other end, that's in the soundboard and the lighting guys, the AV area. Exactly.
So some unsuspecting person is going to be walking around, and they're just going to get taken in the head by a shot. And First is going to have to address that, I think, because some of these balls are just have so much power behind them that if they go through and through that goal and don't touch top or bottom.
I mean, I'm assuming they're going to have people back there, like that are kind of, you're going to have field people. I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're going to, but
I think maybe your field, I don't know how, maybe Lib Dog Millionaire can chime in because she knows about the different volunteer positions at regionals.
That's gonna be the new negged gif if it happens, right? It's just gonna be a red dot coming and just take him in the head. Negged. That's what it's going to be.
But, is there a spot? I know there's field reset. Okay, she says there are volunteers back there. Because I know there's field reset spots, which Tim Francis is really into because it's literally like no field reset this year. Do those guys go back there and do whatever? So while we're on this topic, we were going to talk about 3-ball auto that we were talking about earlier. So the goalie and a limbs. I wrote that down. Now I don't even remember what we were talking about. You were completely lost.
Meredith was just talking about their event. They're draping off large areas behind the goals. No pits. Smart. Hi, Meredith. We've talked about 16 quite a bit already.
Yep. So we were talking about the 3-ball auto and the goalie and the limbs. Do you remember why I wrote that?
I don't.
We wrote it so we would talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So here's my other thing. So, say you have a 3-ball auto. Now, I know, these teams that are going to have it, or even a 2-ball auto. If you have a team that has been pretty consistent, pretty close to 100% with, say all 3 teams on your alliance, there's one team that can do a 2-ball auto and the other teams are really consistent doing 1 ball. Is it worth just all of you doing 1 ball in case something happens with that robot and they miss one/both of their both? Or is it better to kind of divide it up and give each team who has shown that they're 95%, 100% accurate in auto with their 1-ball auto, is it better to split those 3 balls up amongst the 3 teams? Or is it better to give like 2 to 1, 1 to the other, and then just drive forward, I guess, with the other one? Like what would you think?
I got lost in the chat.
I know you did.
Sorry.
So say you have 3, your alliance of 3 and a
I know. Yeah, I know what you said.
So if each team is close to 100% with 1-ball auto, but there's another team that's pretty good with 2-ball auto, is it worth giving 2 to the one, 1 to the other, and having one just drive forward in case something would happen?
Yeah, I think that putting all your eggs in one basket if teams are near 100% is dumb. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of powerhouse teams, and we saw it in eliminations in 2012. A lot of powerhouse teams do things. All teams do this, but we talked about it at the top of the show or the top of the viewer question area is you need to focus on the win. If it's not pretty, whatever. You got to win. So I think a lot of teams with the 3-ball autonomous might feel as though, oh, we have this 3-ball. Great. What happens if you mess up that 3-ball, right? Then you're going to lose that match.
Right. Because you're down.
You're chasing
60 points.
You're chasing a couple balls. It's just, yeah. If you have 3 teams that are near 100%, everyone takes one, everyone does their job, you move on. Instead of that one team, something going wrong and you're just totally lost.
It could be a little different dynamic in there when if the team can do all, like 16, if they can do all hot goal, I would trust a team like Baxter, but what if there's a team, and it gets tricky, I guess, and it depends on your alliance, but if the team has no tracking ability and they just throw it up, and maybe the other team can do 2 in the hot, then maybe you could talk a little different. But that then brings up to the other point of this 3-ball auto question: is the hot goal overrated for the extra 5 points? Is it overrated? Do you think, in the grand scheme of things, between 5 and 15 points is worth chasing after for the added level of difficulty / possible mess up?
I think there's a lot of teams that can do it well, and for them it's easy.
Yes.
Right? Teams with good tracking ability, for them it's an easy 5 points. For teams that for any team out there that's pushing, it's hurting your accuracy to try to get hot goal, whether it involves a turn that isn't consistent or something along those lines, it might be. But I think this game, I'll say it right now, this game is won or lost in autonomous. I think teams that are losing coming out of autonomous are going to lose 60, 70, 80% of the time. It's going to be very difficult for teams to come back if you're losing.
Because you're down.
Yeah.
Secondly, you have to find you're behind in the cycles already.
Yeah, it's going to be just like
because you can't catch up on, because you can't score assists or toss or whatever on those balls that are now on the field.
Yeah.
And now you're behind. So
it's like 2006, right? In 2006, after autonomous, the team that won autonomous was on defense first, which is a huge advantage because all 6 robots just shot all of their balls. Yeah. So the team that lost autonomous have to go on offense first, but they just shot all their balls. They have no ammo. So they spend most of their offensive period trying to get balls, score them. It was devastating.
That was a sweet game. I like that game. Yeah. You didn't like it so much.
It looks old now.
It does.
After 2011, 12, 13, it looks old now. But as far as for that reason, though, I think that, is the hot goal overrated? I don't think so. I think it's going to be very important.
Some people in the chat were saying, that's 10 points. That's one running gun cycle, and I don't know. A lot of teams are doing 2-ball auto. We've had this conversation about 2-ball auto. Is it better to get 2 hot goals and just 5 extra points, or is it better to just do 1 and 1? 1 in the hot goal, shoot 1 in the first 5 seconds, shoot 1 in the second 5 seconds, drive forward. You've lost 5 points. You don't have to mess with the camera or do anything like that. And I think, that's something a team can consider. If you're not doing camera tracking or whatever, you could just do a 1 and 1 and only just miss out on the 5 points. But like they said, you'd hate to lose by 5 points, but yeah. So
yeah, I think I think this is just an autonomous. It's funny. I've thought often about I don't know who was in Chief Delphi, but somebody said after kickoff that, why even bother being a programmer this year? Programming is easy, right? This autonomous mode is easy. Drive forward for 5 points. If you don't have a good autonomous mode this year, you're in big trouble. I think autonomous mode is going to dominate this game. So I've thought about that quite a bit. But we'll see how it plays out.
You could get 75 points in autonomous.
Yeah.
If you're up 75 to exactly
by themselves.
Well, that's with 3 mobility points. They could get 65 by themselves. But if you can only get 1 in, or you're just like you said, you're down. You need to, So I'd be interested to see when the first 75-point auto mode is. That'll be pretty special. I think this year will be a good year to do another one of those videos that I put together for 2012. Like showing the match footage of the first time such and such was done, the first time such and such was done, the first time 3 assist, trust toss, catch, high goal was done, all that stuff. So
I just want to point out that the chat has brought up something that I'm just so happy about, and I had a feeling it wasn't just us, but Chief Delphi has absolutely been just going downhill. It's been the worst. The worst. For those of you, also, I want to point out that
Particularly stupid.
I understand that maybe Reddit doesn't have the greatest reputation, but the FRC Reddit isn't the worst thing in the world, and maybe it deserves
A little plug.
a little plug, and maybe a little bit of a look by a lot of people, because Chief.5 just kills me a little bit. Yeah, I mean, between the secret endgame thread, the American-made parts thread, the dumbed-down endgame thread, I just can't handle it. I just can't handle it.
Oh man, it is. It's been.
Sorry, that was very ranty, but
It's quite all right.
all right. Want to move on? We're almost done here.
Okay, so up next we're going to talk about the 8-seed advantage. So this was kind of mentioned by two Johns, John and John. So thank you for mentioning that and sending it in. So 2 dominating robot versus 3 robots, perhaps well tuned to play together. The 8-seed has the power to pick both styles of robots they need. It would definitely be interesting to see how this plays out. Thoughts?
Sorry, lost in the chat
Yeah,
again.
you are.
But totally, right? So,
So basically,
Michael brought this up in his Michigan post, right? 2
check
dominating.
the emails. It's bad.
So
Yeah,
the
we will,
AC,
Pat.
I think this game more than ever, the ability of the AC to pick 2 robots in a row is going to be a huge advantage. You have your robot, call it Robot A. You need robots B and C. At your event, after only, a fair number of teams have been picked, but the chance that you can get a fairly competent B and C robots to complement your A robot, pretty high.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see that kind of the 2 dominating robots trying to play their own game, and the 3rd robot for the number 1 alliance trying to disrupt the kind of pie in the sky perfect cycle that maybe the 8th and 7th seeds are more built for. But
I think this might go to knowing that the first seed might pick that 2v2 thing that we were talking about earlier, that they might pick the very best complement robot they can. And then when that comes back time for their second pick on the way back up, are they going to take a defense bot? Are they going to take a backup bot in case one of them goes down? I think it's going to be very interesting. So I think the 8th, 7th, 6th team are going to have a lot to choose from and a lot of options out there, and then make some really interesting choices, and I think it's going to go well.
yeah, if you're a scouter or a person that enjoys scouting, I hope that you've really done a good job preparing yourself to scout this game, because scouting is going to be so important. I mean, we obviously stress it every year, but it seems like we say this every year, this year more than any other, but truly this year more than any other, you're going to need to know the abilities of every team at your event, know the abilities of your robot, know the abilities of other robots, and be able to really put together that perfect eliminations alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And teams that do that the best are going to win. I think it's going to be a 1 through 8. This game we've talked about before. This game doesn't seem to be very hard as far as execution goes. We saw on premiere night, there are a ton of teams that score into the high goal very, very, very well. You're going to see some pretty good, strong alliances from all 8 seeds. Most seeds are going to be able to play the game pretty well. Whoever can put together that perfect alliance is gonna do well, and the only way to do that is through great scouting.
Yep. I think that's a really good point. And just knowing, completely understanding every single potential of every team is going to be tricky, but a challenge that many teams are going to step up to. And I think, like you said, it's going to be so important. So one of our last topics of discussion, I'll let you take this one, the district points standard format.
So something we're all going to have to get used to, I think, and this is kind of a way to kind of wrap everything up, talking about the district events this weekend. So obviously it's no secret that FIRST is moving more towards districts. Regionals are expensive to put on. We're trying to move away from that a little bit. Save organizers money. Makes sense. Teams get more plays. Yeah, the events aren't as fancy as regionals, but if we can play more matches, I think I'm for it. And the standard point system that FIRST has applied seems to make a lot of sense. So you only get points at your first 2 district events, and that's how you qualify for your district championship. If you go to a 3rd event or go to a regional, you can still qualify for championship, but it needs to be through a automatic bid qualification. Like if you win a chairman's award at your 3rd district event, you get an automatic bid to your district championship. If you win a regional or you win the chairman's award at a regional, you automatically qualify for the World Championship. So I think it's from where the First in Michigan kind of piloted the point system way back when, I think how the points model and the point system has evolved has been for the better. I think it's really good where it is now. You may have your own opinion, which is great, but I think we're all going to have to get used to it. It's coming to your area soon, if it hasn't already, and it will be interesting to see it kind of applied globally just for fun. Like, I think it was done last year. Rank all 2,000 some FRC teams based on this points format, and see where you end up, and get used to that that thought process, that thinking, because that's what's coming.
Yeah, that was really good. Thank you, Justin. I think we've seen it a lot. I think maybe the next region that may be going to it might be Canada. Any other regions you think? Maybe Florida? I don't know.
It's definitely going to Canada. I don't know if that's what you said. Next year.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Florida, I think New York's kind of in a tough spot right now, but I know they're working for it. Having Tech Valley Regional in New York is kind of going to do a good job showcasing the possibility of putting a district event there. There are already 2 events in New York City, Long Island, so I think it's coming soon. You're just going to have to get used to it and accept it and kind of learn how to. And I love the fact that it makes every match so much more important. Mm-hmm. You get points based on winning a match. Every match, everything you do gets you a little bit closer to the district championship. Mm-hmm. And I think teams are going to have a lot of fun qualifying and winning and taking pride in trying to get to your district championship. That's going to be a really cool thing. Yeah. Don't you think going from regionals to world championships is kind of a big step, right? You go from winning this regional to all of a sudden you're one of 400 teams. Mm-hmm. To have an intermediate step that you can also take a lot of pride in, winning your district championship, is really cool. I think that's cool.
I think you're right. You could argue that the step between, district championship, it could be the same as, but as far as the size, possibly, but as far as the experience, knowing that you're there because you earned to be there, and you're amongst the best of the best, and then taking that to even better of the best of the best, which translates into that whole topic of discussion about teams that are at championship that don't deserve to be there. There's years our team is qualified that don't deserve to be there necessarily. So that's a whole other topic of discussion. But so one of the last few things, this would be your last chance to send us anything on email or Twitter or Facebook of anything you'd like to talk about. We have a couple emails we're going to get to, a couple tweets we're going to get to. But one of the last things is average qualification or average elimination score.
You asking me?
Sure.
So we go back to the original post, which is always kind of a fun thing on Chief Delphi to see early on, is everyone's predictions of winning scores. I saw winning scores on Chief Delphi, which is the worst. Even as low as winning scores are going to be 20, 30 points for an alliance. I think that's horribly low. I think you're going to see a lot.
I think you'll see that, obviously. Yeah. I think you'll see them that low.
Sure, but I think that...
They said average?
Average winning score is going to be, I think it's going to be 50, 60, 70 points. I think so. It's not that difficult. A lot of teams are going to be successful.
Figuring what we said earlier, that there should be no reason you don't get 15 in autonomous.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of teams that can shoot a ball in autonomous. So
Lots of teams.
I think week 1, I think we'll see maybe, I'm going to say about 30, maybe week 1. So. Okay. All right, so we're going to head to our emails.
I'm going to check Twitter one more time.
So we got an email from Ryan. Nope. Oh, yes, Ryan. Ryan, if you would like to take any footage for us, any videos you want to put together, or if you want to do a compilation video of, different teams there, definitely let us know. I'm not sure how in depth we're going to go with behind the bumpers or behind the glass this year, just because of the limited, not the limited events we'll be at, but we'll see. We haven't fully discussed that yet, but anything you'd like to put together, we would gladly show on the show. Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't want to sound all high and mighty, but there are and Ryan, I trust his ability completely as far as quality goes. But there's a certain quality we would expect. Don't just send us in random videos, and I mean, we're
Yeah.
gonna review it. There's a review,
Right.
We're more than happy to take a look at anything that you'd like to show us, but understand that we would expect a certain level of quality there.
Professionality. That's like a word.
Also, if you're interested in, like, we do behind the glass and behind the bumpers, those are two of the things that we little segments that we try to do. It's much easier when Mike and I are at events to do that. Behind the glass is where you put a GoPro on your robot, and then we mic up usually the driver, the coach of your team. So we have the GoPro view of your robot on the field, and then you can listen to the drivers as they're playing the match. And you can go to our website, FRCTop25.com, and check out some of the ones we did last year. So if you watch a few and you're familiar and have an idea of how you do that, if you want to do a behind the glass of your own team, that would be cool. Just because Mike and I can't get to every event. I think for behind the bumpers, we try to do that ourselves, even at the limited events.
If you'd like any information on how to do a behind the glass, or you have a GoPro but you need to know how to mic up the drivers and stuff, shoot us an email. I'd be glad to walk you through that. And again, we can't guarantee anything can show up on the show or whatever, but we'd love to get as much as we can, as long as it meets the specifications and stuff. So just got an email from Anthony. What do you expect most winning alliances to be seeded? I'd say 1 or 2, but there's a lot of opportunities for 8 and 7 to make a statement.
I would say generally you're going to see 1 and 2s win a lot, just because they have a nicer path to the finals. Even though the 1 and 2 have to go through the 7 and 8 that we talked about already, being a very powerful alliance. In general, the 1s and 2s are probably going to be more popular. But I think after 1 and 2, it might seem contradictory to say, but I think you'll see a lot of 7-8s be pretty successful too. It might very well go 1, 2, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
So we got
that kind of deal.
So we have an email that has this question for us. Someone told me an interesting idea for an autonomous, especially for teams that have a weak autonomous modes or those going up against very effective autonomous modes. Remember 2006 when robots would spend their autonomous mode to predict crashing into other robots to stop their autonomous shots? If the Red Alliance starts with all 3 balls, either in their robots or in a 3-ball shots, while the Blue Ball Alliance could start with none. The Blue Alliance sends all 3 robots backwards for autonomous to mess up with the Red's Alliance shots. Even if the Red's Alliance makes 2, if one of the balls misses, the Blue Alliance has it made. 2 robots from the Blue Alliance begin a cycle immediately and make a 20 to 30 point cycles, while the other Blue robot has enough defense to prevent them from making a red ball from being scored. In that scenario, the Red Alliance cannot make any more points beyond what they are made on autonomous, and Blue would run to the table for the match. Is that possible? I gotta kind of read this again. Are they saying to cross the line in autonomous?
I don't know.
'Cause you can't do that, right?
We also talked about. I've heard some teams talk about maybe using one of their balls, right? Using one of their balls to shoot that backwards, and kind of knock the positioning of the 3-ball setup, which is obviously a very delicate maneuver. So that'd be interesting. But crashing into other robots, I'm not sure about that. I thought it said you can't cross completely over the truss. Actually, I'm 100% sure that's what it said.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I really like the idea maybe of sending your ball backwards, but you can't bring your robot backwards, right?
Yeah.
So,
actually, for the VEX team that I work with, we were actually concerned that for our autonomous mode, teams were going to start doing something similar, just trying to disrupt us. Not by hitting us, which is against the rules, but by hitting the balls, which would in essence hit us and then ruin our autonomous. But I guess, sure, it's plausible. I don't think that anybody would be happy about seeing that, though. I mean, I would be pretty disappointed watching matches if the Blue Alliance fires one of its balls into the Red Alliance balls to scatter them and ruin it. I think there's ways to win matches, and I understand at the top of the show we talked about, doing what it takes to win, but that seems kind of slimy to me.
So we got a tweet from David Givens. Opinions on a New England Renaissance and New England rising to Michigan candidate status with the move to districts. So basically, do you think New England could get the prestige and I don't know what word I'm looking for, but just
notoriety?
Notoriety, I guess. Yeah, of Michigan gets a good rap for being competitive. Oh, yeah, but Canada's not in districts yet. But Canada, has a knack for or known for competitive regionals and soon to be districts. Do you think New England, with New England's move to districts, do you think that might happen for those teams?
So I think that, Michigan has that status. I don't think it's so much as a result of the district events, just the quality of the teams, right? Like 217, 67, those 33, those upper echelon teams. Michigan's got notoriety because of that. Right. Canada has 1114, 2056, 610,
1241, 1310 now.
So they have, again,
the
districts not so much as just the quality of teams. And I think New England has a chance to kind of, just because district events have more plays, more opportunity for people to see those teams play. I know that like 190, Gampe and the Herd, when I first got involved in first, they were one of the just upper level teams. Not to say that they're not so much anymore, but New England kind of, I think, has seen a little bit of a drop off. So will district events help? I don't see how they could hurt, just because you play more matches, more visibility. So I guess that's kind of my answer.
So
we'll see.
One other thing is, where are we going to be this year? Week 1, we're not going to really be anywhere. We'll just be watching online.
I actually haven't decided yet.
Oh, you think you might go somewhere?
I don't know. I might go to GTR West.
Yeah, I can't. That's a bummer.
I'll reach out to John Hopkins and be like, so how do I get one of those wristbands? But I don't know.
Week 2, maybe GTR East.
I think definitely GTR East.
Yeah. Week 3, we'll be competing at TVR.
Week 4, we'll be back in Canada for Waterloo.
Water.
Which we would never miss.
Absolutely. That's going to be awesome. Week 5, we'll be at FLR. Week 6, I'm not sure.
I haven't looked at the schedule. So, I don't know.
So that's our thing right now. As far as like Michigan Championship and Mar Championships, like we've said before, they're just slightly too far for us to get to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm super bummed about. I think that if we weren't competing week 3, we would have seriously considered going to Orlando. I think the quality of robots there is just going to be incredible. South Florida, you're right. South Florida has a lot of the Orlando teams as well.
How many there are? So we could go to Alberta, Windsor.
That's okay.
I wonder who's going to be here, actually.
Windsor,
SVR,
Essex.
Colorado,
Lauderdale.
Hit this one?
Windsor, Essex, yeah.
So there's 2 going on. The Western Canada Regional and the Windsor going on there.
Hey, two open spots still at Windsor in Canada if anybody wants to compete.
We are closer to the Mar Championship. We're about 6 hours from Philadelphia. 5.5, 6 hours. 14 will be there. 2056.
Oh, 14 is going to Windsor too?
Yeah. How far away is that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, so I think we're ready to wrap this up.
I am.
We'll keep the chat going for a little bit.
So what's going to happen is, just the way this new live stream works, to keep the chat going, we have to have the channel, or we have to still kind of be broadcasting. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of hop out so we can get the recording done and completed, and then we'll go live again with just a blank screen. And then you guys we'll keep the chat
just
going.
So we can keep
the chat will be disabled probably for just a minute or 2, and then we'll be back live. So we appreciate all of you guys tuning in tonight. Again, huge thanks to Vexpro and Grant Cox for working really hard this week and getting this new channel up and live for us. We just really appreciate the support that they've really shown for us, just monetarily and support-wise and everything. So thank you to everybody there.
Yeah, there's no question that was a huge thing for us to get that sponsorship. And they brought us down there for Bill Blitz. We're excited to be a part of that. So we can't thank them enough for everything they've done for us so far. And it's just the beginning. I mean, we have a great season, I think, lined up.
Yeah. So don't forget, voting will open. We'll probably put a thing on Chief Delphi /FRC Reddit when voting is open, which would be what? Sunday. So they'll have about a day to vote. Is that how we're going to do it?
We have to do Monday. It has to go to Monday night.
Yeah, but when do we open? Sunday night?
Oh, yeah. Just because this week had the Sunday events, we have to. Again, we know most events end on Saturday, but if we open voting on Saturday, people will vote without watching matches on Sunday.
Right. So
we purposely hold. So you're only going to have one day to vote.
So what we're going to do...
So make sure you're prepared for that.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is, if you vote every week, you'll be entered to win a Vex Pro prize pack. Each week, we'll give away one of those prize packs to somebody who votes. We think we're going to try that out, and we're going to make sure people are voting to vote, and not just voting and just putting in random teams or whatever like that. So that's the plan for now. If not, we'll figure out something different. So please vote. That'll open up Sunday night. You'll have until Monday night, and then we'll see you a week from today right here at 9 p.m. as we count down the first week's top 25.
Yeah, so of course, thank you all for tuning in. If you're competing this week, we wish you the best of luck. Have a great time, and show us how to play aerial assist. We're looking forward to it.
Definitely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yep, thanks
a lot.
Good
week.
Good night.
This is the same massage chair we're getting for Joe Mayo, $60 cheap.
Except the store's in Delaware.
I'll have them overnighted.
Maybe cheapness is a sense. You know, it is better without this big wallet. It's more comfortable.
It doesn't matter if it's more comfortable, it's wrong.
Why?
Because important things go in a case. You got a skull for your brain, a plastic sleeve for your comb, and a wallet for your money.
Look at this thing. It's huge. You got more cow here than here.
I need everything in there.
Irish money?
I might go there.
Show this card at any participating Orlando area Exxon station to get your free Save the Tiger poster.
Just give me that. Give me some of those sweet and lows. Well, I'm satisfied. My back is killing me.
Of course, because of that wallet. You got a filing cabinet under half of your ass.
This is an organizer, a secretary, and a friend.
Look at you. You're on a slant.
Here, just give me a couple of napkins. Yeah, I'm fine.
What was that?
I think I had some hard candy in there. Oh, so now I have to buy the whole chair by myself?
Ah, you don't have to buy anything.
I already bought it! I've been lying to you for 3 days and now you're all screwing me!
I don't understand. Why didn't you tell us you had it?
I needed it. My back is a little tweaked.
Because of your giant wallet. Just get rid of it.
Never. It is a part of me. I will just return the chair and it will be easy because the receipt is in my good friend.
Your good friend is morbidly obese.
Well, at least I'm not carrying a purse.
It's not a purse. It's European.
All right. Guitar, first lesson free. Huh. Huh. Everything's the chair! I turned the post!